Hey YouTube, this is EvanMagician34, and I've got a preliminary first build that I'm just toying with, so advice welcome. But I've just built Kristya-Sworn. Kristya-Sworn, obviously, Lightsworn that just uses a splashed copy of Archlord Kristya and then beckons for it and all that good stuff, and runs slightly more fairies to pay for it. So, anyway, here's the build. Jump right into it. 2 copies of Judgment Dragon. That should seem fairly obvious. And the Archlord Kristya. Then we get into the Lightsworn lineup. It's 1 copy of Lumina, 1 copy of Lila, 1 Erin, 1 Jane. Jane's surprisingly good, actually. I've been quite impressed with her lately. 1 copy of Arcus, 1 copy of Shire, another card which has surprised me in playtesting with how very good she is. She starts so small, but she really does snowball, especially in this deck which has so many different names. Plus she's a fairy, of course, and that's why she makes the build, ultimately. And speaking of Lightsworns that are also fairies, 2 copies of Celestia. Unfortunately, Lightsworns really did get hurt by the recent ban list. Double Garoth. Double Raikou. Double Wolf. 2 copies of Honest. That's 10 different named Lightsworns, in case you weren't keeping track. Here's one of my really interesting tech picks, I think. 1 copy of Shining Angel. It's another fairy, and it also searches so many good cards in this deck. It searches Lumina, it searches Honest, it can search Shire, just all kinds of things that can help build up whatever you've already got in hand. So, great card. And of course it can be Honest and all that good stuff. Plague Spreader Zombie. 1 copy of Necro Gardener. And last but not least, 1 copy of Shiny Black Sea. Moving into the spells. Heavy Storm. MST. Cold Wave. Charge of the Light Brigade. 3 copies of Solar Recharge. 1 copy of Gold Sarcophagus. The second one just kind of clumps up in the hand, but the one is just perfect. Great way to search for Judge. Foolish Burial, just for those 2 lone copies of Wolf. Burial from a Different Dimension. I went with 2 copies of Book for this build just because it disrupts so much other stuff and it gives you lots of things to run over, which your Lightsworns like. So, always a nice extra option. 1 copy of My Body's a Shield, just a little bit of defense that also works during my turn, which is quite nice. And the traps, only 4. It's Torrential, and of course the obligatory 3 copies of Beckoning Light. I've already thought of some changes for this deck, but this is the initial version I ran, so feedback from you guys would definitely be nice over the next week or 2, and you know, we can kind of match up what you think, what I think, what I've gotten in my playtesting, all that kind of stuff, and we'll go from there. Synchro deck, obviously, I've only got 1 tuner, so it doesn't get used too much, but double Stardusts, Red Dragon Arcfiend, Colossal Fighter, Thought Ruler, Avenging Knight, just love this guy, Black Rose Dragon, Psychic Life Trancer, X-Saber Urbellum, Goyle Guardian, basically hitting on a lot of my 1-up copies of stuff, Bryanek, Flamvell Urquizus, Tempest Magician, Magical Android, and last but not least, of course, Ally of Justice Cataster. Alright, so that's the deck, and until next time, rate, comment, subscribe, and of course, enjoy.